Hello everybody, welcome to the video. We have a pretty cool one here for you today. So a couple of different journalists have gotten to visit the set of Godzilla vs. Kong, and they have just posted their articles today about it. Today we're going to be focusing on comicbook.com, and they have some pretty interesting things to say regarding some mysterious sets that we'll talk about, and it kind of confirms one of my theories from a previous video about what Godzilla's deal is in this movie, what's gotten him so angry. But first I want to talk about something that was also just released today, and that is a poster for Godzilla Singular Point, the anime that's slated to be coming out at some point in 2021. I think in Japan it's like rumored for March, and then obviously later on in the year. But a poster just dropped, and looking at it here, it's pretty cool. Like, you know, we got some characters here upside down in the corner. Jet Jaguar looking cool. This sign, nice. What in tarnation? So I'm not coming out and saying that I hate this. I'm just confused. Every single image we have gotten of Godzilla, besides obviously some major features, every image of him, every angle, it looks like an entirely different creature, and I kind of can't understand it. This does not look like this. This version of Godzilla, I can't see how when he turns his head, we get this. Now, I'm not saying I hate it. At first, I was a little taken aback by it, but overall, after looking at it for a couple of minutes, he looks scary. He definitely looks terrifying. Like if we were to see that thing walking through the city, I would not be happy with that. I would run. So, you know, there's that, and hopefully the anime just ends up being good with a good story, and Godzilla ends up being amazing in it. Moving on. So, comicbook.com posted their article about their set visit, and they give up some pretty juicy details. So this first one here is by Brandon Davis, and he starts off the article. I'm not going to read this entire thing. It would take way too long. I am going to cover some highlights, mainly being the set that I mentioned and that thing confirming my theory, or at least lending more credence to my theory. So he starts off the article by saying, it's rare to walk on a set and drop an awe-inspired holy to yourself after more than half of a decade of being spoiled by visiting film sets. You know, he talks about the Doctor Strange set being pretty impressive and everything. He goes on to say, still, few sites compare to that of a massive 60-foot long skull created on just one stage of the Australian set of Godzilla vs. Kong, which prompted an audible reaction once the intense visual of merely one of many sets was fully processed. So what he's saying here is Godzilla vs. Kong, while obviously there's going to be a ton of CGI with the monsters, what sets they can build, they're building, which is awesome to hear. And this skull is Ghidorah's skull, the company that purchased Ghidorah. I don't think Charles Dance is going to be in this at all. Apparently this is 5 years after the events of King of the Monsters, but someone has Ghidorah's skull, and they're doing something with it, and they're doing something inside of it, and we can see this awesome image here of Serizawa's son kind of sitting in it, and you got some stuff from the film set kind of peeking in and everything. And overall, the aesthetic is amazing. I love the color scheme here. I love how this doesn't look like a doctored image at all. There's no CGI. This is just the set. This is what they saw walking into it, which is pretty cool. I definitely love the fact that it looks like the inside of a skull, but with some technology to it. I don't know if Serizawa's son is going to like connect his brain to it or something, but they do talk about that a little bit more. So they describe the set and, you know, how it's illuminated and how cool it looks. There's also some stuff in here about Millie Bobby Brown, talking about her character, her connection with Godzilla in these past two films. And it's pretty interesting, so definitely give the whole article a read. Again, I'm just going over the highlights here. They also go on to say, and this is stuff we've heard before, but they go on to say Kong is bigger in this film. There's a line in Skull Island that he's growing, you know, he's still growing, so he's adolescent in that film. And this is all stuff we've heard before. I can't personally wrap my head around how people don't understand that Kong has grown. He got bigger. A big old monkey. He got bigger. Adam Wingard also briefly mentions staying true to the films that have preceded this one, but also making it his own, his inspirations with, you know, horror films and stuff like that. And it's a very interesting read. They also mention briefly and very subtly why Godzilla and Kong are fighting. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing we can't imagine for ourselves. I suspect it has something to do with Godzilla going on a rampage for a reason we'll talk about and disrupting Kong's world. And then yeah, they're fighting because of that. I imagine that whatever reason this Iwi girl has been left alone is the reason Kong is upset with Godzilla. Whether Godzilla meant to unfortunately destroy the Iwis, which is my guess, or not, it pissed Kong off, and that's one of the reasons they're fighting. So some plot stuff. And then as for what's causing Godzilla to act up, Garcia and the gang get a bit hush. But one can assume the massive Apex Corporation could be part of this. They mentioned the humans are going to play a big part of this story. I imagine so. In some of my previous videos, I talked about how I kind of wish that because the world technically almost ended in King of the Monsters, this movie would have been much more like primal and people are struggling, but apparently not. Apparently the world has just gone on and probably thrived if there's even more companies like Monarch and Apex now. So, you know, a different direction than I would have gone, but I'm still very interested in it and keeping my mind open to it because this film has got me hyped. Now let's move on to this other piece. They even state here, Godzilla and Kong will not be the only titans in Godzilla vs. Kong. In fact, the film is set to introduce quite a few new beasts as it journeys through Hollow Earth and new monsters make their way to the big screen. However, some familiar names will be joining the chaos, but in a less traditional sense. The first trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong gave audiences their first teases of Mechagodzilla making a debut, and, while on the set of the massive film, comicbook.com got a look at the 60-foot skull created on set, posing as Ghidorah's left head, which was severed in Godzilla King of the Monsters. So right there, they kind of retread. This is a different article, still posted today, but talking more specifically about this set with the head. So yeah, pretty big stuff. We know Mechagodzilla's in this movie, but this is them officially saying it and talking about what Ghidorah's head has to do with all this, if they're going to use it, you know, kind of from afar to remotely control Mechagodzilla. If this thing is just crammed right in Mechagodzilla, we still don't know. But it's interesting that they're kind of spilling this information. The other line that I find peculiar and intriguing, and this could just be me thinking a little bit too much on it, but they mentioned some familiar names are going to be featured in this film in a not traditional way. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think that it's going to be anything too exotic, I guess. Like, I think at the most, instead of people being in Mechagodzilla, Serizawa is just going to be controlling it from afar. And then, this is where it gets interesting and kind of lends some credence to my previous theory a couple videos ago. The headquarters of sorts, which has been set up inside this Ghidorah skull, will send some sort of signal out in Godzilla vs. Kong, which will be a key part of the film, which allows the incredibly designed set to show itself off. So yeah, if you haven't seen my previous video on this, one of my theories for what's got Godzilla so mad is the fact that Mechagodzilla is kind of using some sort of orca-like technology to piss Godzilla off and kind of send him out hunting for him, make it look like he's causing disasters, this, that, or the other. So them saying that this skull or Mechagodzilla is sending out this signal is kind of a little bit of evidence towards the fact that that's what's getting Godzilla upset. He is realizing some form of Ghidorah is still out there, whether he's thinking, oh, you know, people are making a new mechanized Ghidorah or version of me. Like, no, I don't think he's thinking that, but I think he is hearing Ghidorah's call and being like, what's going on? I literally ate this dude. So it's kind of upsetting Godzilla. And then obviously I'm sure there's going to be more factors into why Godzilla's targeting Kong. But yeah, that kind of gives a little bit of credence to my theory that that's what's going on with this. Again, we don't know for sure, but some pretty interesting thing in these articles. Go check them out at comicbook.com and let me know what you guys think. Really quickly, if you guys could like the video and subscribe to the channel, also share it around. I would like to build up a community here, and I would like to see the channel grow and be able to do more fun things and more interactive things with you guys. Share the video around, please, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. What was your most favorite part? What was your favorite part of the articles? What do you think about this theory that the skull and or Mechagodzilla is using some sort of orca-like signal that they mention to make Godzilla angry? Or is there more to it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you in the next one. See ya.